Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering Hollywood panics as AI to replace actors with their own likenesses. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Coming from Breitbart, Hollywood studios on collision course with actors over AI limitations. Also from Breitbart, Justine Bateman blasts SAG-AFTRA deal. If actors approve contract, they'll be replaced by AI synthetic objects. And they essentially did approve the contract. We'll get into what they agreed to in detail. From Forbes, the AI takeover in cinema, how movie studios use artificial intelligence. There is already extensive use in every aspect of movie making, from writing to performances, of artificial intelligence already in Hollywood. We'll get into it in detail. And from Bloomberg, AI will cut costs of animated films by 90%, according to Jeffrey Katzenberg. Not everyone agrees with this, but just to understand who Jeffrey Katzenberg actually is, he was the chairman of Disney for 10 years while they rebooted animation for Disney, and it was actually successful. The original Little Mermaid, the original Lion King were under Jeffrey Katzenberg's oversight. He also went on to leave Disney and then start up DreamWorks with Steven Spielberg and David Geffen. They went on to create a competing animation studio called DreamWorks Animation, putting out hits like Shrek, Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda, and How to Train Your Dragon. So he's somebody that does actually know a lot about Hollywood, and he knows a lot about animation production. If he's not completely correct, he's probably approximately correct. Artificial intelligence will affect animation. There's no way to get around it. From Breitbart, Hollywood studios on collision course with actors over AI limitations. A clash is brewing in Hollywood as actors seek to impose limits on artificial intelligence technology, particularly when it comes to their digital likenesses, while studios are pushing back, arguing that such limits would violate their First Amendment rights. How could you possibly be violating First Amendment rights when you say, look, I'm Tom Cruise, I'm William Shatner, I want to control the use of my likeness? That doesn't affect your First Amendment rights as a studio trying to make money, except that their performance is part of the speech of the film from the studio. So it does get complicated. My belief is that people should own the rights to their image and their likeness. What else do you own if not yourself? However, those are rights and those are property rights that potentially could be signed away. The growing dispute became evident during a congressional hearing when representatives of SAG-AFTRA and the Motion Picture Association voiced differing views on a draft Senate bill called the No Fakes Act, which would give actors a digital replication right to authorize the use of their image, voice, or visual likeness. Crucially, the right would be inherited by an actor's descendants, which makes sense. I mean, your identity, the things that you create, who you are, should for the purposes of law be considered a property, an intellectual property. Why shouldn't you own it? The Senate Judiciary's Committee's Subcommittee on Intellectual Property heard from a series of witnesses on the No Fakes Act. The MPA, which is the Congressional lobbying organization that represents the major studios and streamers, called the draft bill overly broad, adding that it would have a negative effect on creativity in Hollywood. The MPA's senior vice president, Ben Schaffner, cautioned that legislating in this area involves something that the First Amendment sharply limits, regulating the content of speech. It will take a very careful drafting to accomplish the bill's goals without inadvertently chilling or even prohibiting legitimately constitutionally protected uses of technology to enhance storytelling. At one point, Schaffner reportedly referenced the movie Forrest Gump for its scenes involving digitally altered versions of former presidents. Quote, to be clear, those depictions did not require the consent of their heirs, Schaffner said. And requiring such consent would effectively grant heirs or their corporate successors the ability to censor portrayals they don't like, which would violate the First Amendment. Now, I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but violations of the First Amendment are when government chills speech. It's not when individuals chill speech. That's why if you have a private social media platform, they can make decisions about what they will and won't allow on their site. When influenced by government, that changes the equation. But if I own the right to my visual presentation, to my audio presentations as Adam Post, and I say, no, I don't want my rights used that way, I don't want my presentation done that way, even if I did some work for you in the past, that doesn't restrict free speech. When the government passes a law that protects my rights, Does that infringe on performance rights when someone bought my work in the past? I don't think so. SAG-AFTRA's Duncan Crabtree Ireland voiced support for the draft bill. Quote, "It's shocking that anyone would think that this right doesn't deserve to be preserved and protected after death. It's an economic right. It's a personal right. And it's something that has real value," he said. AI was a major point of contention during last year's actor strike, which along with a concurrent writer's strike brought most of Hollywood to a historic halt for several months, with numerous TV and movie productions being forced to suspend activity at enormous cost to the studios. When the dust finally settled, SAG-AFTRA claimed that it scored important victories in protecting its actor members against the encroachment of AI. But questions remain about just how significant those victories were, with some dissenters saying they fall short of true protections, giving studios room to work around them. The Writers Guild of America also trumpeted a supposed victory. Studios must now disclose if any material given to writers has been generated by AI. In addition, studios can't force writers to use AI, nor can AI receive credit on a TV show or movie. But ambiguities abound. AI applications like ChatGPT are already being used by some writers as a tool in their creative process. And I've tinkered around with ChatGPT a little bit. It is a good tool. It's like a search engine almost. It can't do the job for you, but it can give you some ideas. And studios now are expected to search for legal loopholes that will enable them to capitalize on the technology. And there are already many legal loopholes that studios have they can use to manipulate their talent relationships with AI. Coming from Backstage, unpacking SAG-AFTRA's new AI regulations, what actors should know. Backstage is a resource for professional actors, and this is an excellent breakdown. SAG-AFTRA ratified its latest TV theatrical agreement with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers in November 2023. That's essentially the collection of the studios. Following almost 4 months of striking and intense negotiations, chief among the pressing issues the union addressed was the impact that the rapid rise of generative AI could have on actors' livelihoods. The technology affects performers across the industry, from those just starting out to A-listers like Tom Hanks and Viola Davis. So it's important to pay attention no matter what stage you're at in your career. One of the much-needed amendments in the TV theatrical agreement codifies the use of generative AI. Here's some key jargon to learn. Digital alteration. This refers to the practice of changing an actor's work in photography or soundtrack previously recorded by the performer. Your explicit consent is required to make these alterations, unless they're substantially as scripted, performed, and/or recorded. Your consent isn't required if your lips, body, or voice are adjusted for redubbing or post-production edits explicitly made, quote, for purposes of cosmetics, wardrobe, noise reduction, timing or speed, continuity, pitch or tone, addition of visual sound effects or filters, standards and practices, ratings, and adjustment in dialogue or narration, or other similar purposes. Employment-based digital replicas. This applies to likenesses of actors who are already under contract for a series or film. They're generated, quote, for the purpose of portraying the performer in photography or a soundtrack in which the performer did not actually perform. Essentially, this means that the replica is an extension of the actor's work it's copying. Entertainment lawyer Tara Aaron-Stoluto cites Brandon Truss and American Pickle as an example of how employment-based digital replication works in practice. In the film, Seth Rogen plays both the grandfather and the grandson in modern times. So if one of those characters was a digital replica, but the actual actor was performing alongside or in the same scene, there's no additional compensation for that. While you don't make any additional money if an AI supplements your performance, you also won't make any less. As far as the compensation is concerned, if your digital likeness works, so do you. The SAG agreement ensures that whether it's you or your digital double on screen, you'll get paid. But whether the producers use an AI-generated version of Nicole Kidman or Nicole Kidman herself, they still have to pay Nicole Kidman. In some ways, she's better off letting them use an AI version and getting paid for it so she can go do something else instead of actually having to show up and sit in the trailer for 17 hours a day. Independently created digital replicas. With your permission, producers can completely simulate your likeness through AI, which means you won't have to show up to set at all. In fact, you don't even have to be alive. An actor's contract may include a stipulation giving studios permission to use their AI replica after their death. Even if they don't consent themselves, the performer's estate or the union, if they have no living representative, can give producers permission to use their likenesses after they pass. Synthetic performers. These are entirely AI-generated actors who are presented as real-life people. According to the agreement, they can't be recognizable as an identifiable natural performer. Producers can derive certain body parts, such as eyes or mouths, from real actors to create a kind of Frankenstein's monster, but that requires explicit consent from the people in question. The contract states that both producers and the union acknowledge the importance of human performance in motion pictures and the potential impact on employment. It also stipulates that the union be notified and given an opportunity to bargain in good faith if producers are considering casting an AI performer. So they can have an entire AI performer made up of pieces of other people that sign off and sell and say, yeah, you can utilize my likeness, you can utilize my mouth, my eyes, my toes, whatever, to build this Frankenstein's monster character for whatever fee, modify it any way you want, and that will be an actor in a film. On the question of consent, requiring a performer's permission at each step of the generative AI process is a cornerstone of the agreement. Producers must clearly stipulate how they plan on using AI in a contract, and they must obtain informed and explicit consent from an actor before using their digital replica. It's up to you whether or not you want to allow a project to supplement your performance with AI. But of course, if you don't agree with the studio on how the studio wants to do their production process, whether it's AI or any aspect of the production process, they will replace you with someone else unless they absolutely need your involvement on the project. Because why wouldn't they? If you were hiring someone to clean your house, or if you were going to a pizza place, you wouldn't go to a pizza place that was only open between midnight and 3 a.m. It would have to be at your convenience. And the studio has millions of dollars invested, sometimes more. They're going to do it at their convenience, and you're going to agree or you're not going to get work. Unfortunately, that's the reality of the direction that this thing is moving in. The attorney Aaron Steluto says that the summary's phrasing prevents studios from collecting a roster of digital replicas and using them in future projects without consent from the performers that they're based on. However, the summary includes a lot of vague language. The phrase, quote, reasonably specific description of the intended use, which pops up 5 times in the digital replication and digital alteration sections, particularly stood out to Aaron Steluto. Quote, is this opening the studios up to be allowed to completely change the use based on editorial discretion and completely change the purpose of using that AI character later on, she posits? There may be additional details, but that would have been something that probably would have alarmed me if I was counsel for SAG-AFTRA negotiations. Yes, of course it opens up the door for the studio to manipulate those performances any way they want to, and they will. She also points out that the document only provides a general summary and every individual contract will be different. That's all well and good if you're in the union, but are you protected from AI replication if you're a non-union actor? It all depends on your agreement with the producers of a project. So the answer is no. If you don't belong to the union, you're not part of that agreement. Maybe in the short term, studios would agree not to do that. I don't know why they would. They're just in it for the money. And if they're not in it for the money, they're in it to push a propaganda agenda. Either one of those two things means no, they're not going to respect the talent. Aaron Steluto advises performers to read their contracts thoroughly and keep an eye out for AI-related provisions, particularly phrases like, quote, technology now known or hereafter devised. She adds that production companies are pretty good at making sure that their rights are protected, regardless of what happens with the technology. If you're still early on in your acting career, you may feel pressure to sign a big offer regardless. But you should always advocate for protections that safeguard your most valuable asset as a performer, your likeness. Do these provisions go far enough? That's the billion-dollar question. Are the terms of the union's agreement enough to protect performers from being taken advantage of by AI, or is it already too late? SAG member Justine Bateman takes a hardline approach when it comes to artificial intelligence. In an interview with MSNBC prior to the vote, she noted that the use of AI will hurt the union because SAG can't represent a synthetic actor. Quote, you might as well be negotiating for non-union actors because these synthetic performers, these AI objects, aren't going to pay dues. They're not going to pay pension and health. And they're going to take a job from a human actor, she said. She's right. It's just practically speaking. This is what's going to happen with technology. She added that actors should only endorse the deal if they don't want to work anymore, and expressed concerns over how the issue will affect other areas of filmmaking. Synthetic performances could lead to fewer or no sets, fewer or no crew, and fewer or no drivers. The list goes on. SAG member Satu Runa echoed Bateman's sentiment. It's very easy to replace us with this technology, she told Prism. We shouldn't normalize it. She also pointed out, outside of big-name actors with bargaining power, the summary's consent stipulations fall short of protecting performers. Young actors or desperate actors who want to work, they're going to feel pressure to just check the box. and agree to whatever terms are in front of them where a check is attached. They're going to just do it. According to Aaron Stoluto, the agreement's AI provisions aren't perfect, but they do track surprisingly closely to traditional right of publicity laws. I don't think there's anything super surprising in there. It follows what I would have expected based on rights and publicity. I'm not sure what more SAG-AFTRA could have asked for other than to avoid using AI altogether. But everyone understood that train has kind of left the station. Technology moves forward. There's nothing we can do about that. And keeping AI out of Hollywood is not going to happen. It's already working in Hollywood. We'll go over that in a second. From Forbes, here's what's already going on with AI in Hollywood. It's more than you think unless you're really familiar with this. From Forbes, the AI takeover in cinema, how movie studios use artificial intelligence. The film industry, always at the forefront of technological innovation, is increasingly embracing artificial intelligence to revolutionize movie production, distribution, and marketing, from script analysis to post-production. Already, AI is reshaping how movies are made and consumed. Here's what's already going on with AI in Hollywood. AI in scriptwriting and pre-production. AI's infiltration into the movie industry begins at the scriptwriting stage. Tools like Scriptbook use natural language processing to analyze scripts, predict box office success, and offer insights into plot and character development. For instance, 20th Century Fox employed AI to analyze the script of Logan, which helped in making informed decisions about the movie's plot and themes. When we say Logan, we're talking about the movie from 2017, based on Wolverine, released through Fox, which had not yet been acquired by Disney. This goes back to 2017 as a release date, so for them to have gotten involved in the screenwriting process and used AI to make decisions about the story, it would have had to have been done at least in 2015. That's almost 10 years ago now. In pre-production, AI has also aided in casting and location scouting. Warner Brothers partnered with Synalytic to use AI for casting decisions, evaluating an actor's market value to predict a film's financial success. For example, looking at location scouting, AI algorithms can sift through thousands of hours of footage to identify suitable filming locations, streamlining what was once a time-consuming process. At this company, Synalytic, they're working with multiple Hollywood players already. According to them, they have 85% plus accuracy on box office estimates. So when you give them a script, they can judge based on the script, casting decisions, budget, subject matter, multiple categories, up to 400 different points of evaluation, how well that movie is going to actually do at the box office. AI is being used in filmmaking and visual effects. During filmmaking, AI plays a crucial role in visual effects. Disney's Face Director software can generate composite expressions from multiple takes, enabling directors to adjust an actor's performance in post-production. This technology was notably used in Avengers: Infinity War to perfect emotional expressions in complex CGI scenes. Conversely, AI-driven software like deepfake technology, though controversial, has been used to create realistic face swaps in movies. For instance, it was used in The Irishman to de-age actors, offering a cost-effective alternative to traditional CGI. Additionally, AI is used in color grading and editing. IBM Watson was used to create the movie trailer for Morgan, analyzing visuals, sounds, and compositions from other movie trailers to determine what would be most appealing to audiences. AI in post-production and sound design. In post-production, AI significantly reduces the time and cost involved. Tools like Adobe Sensei use machine learning to automate tedious editing tasks, such as object removal and scene stabilization. For sound design, AI algorithms can create realistic soundscapes. Skywalker's Sound, part of Lucasfilm, also part of Disney, uses AI to categorize and retrieve sounds from their vast library, speeding up the sound design process. AI in distribution and marketing. AI's role extends to movie distribution and marketing. Platforms like Netflix use AI algorithms to suggest films to viewers based on their viewing history, enhancing the user experience and increasing viewership. In marketing, AI tools analyze social media data to gauge audience sentiment and preferences, guiding marketing strategies. For example, Warner Brothers used AI to optimize the marketing of Aquaman, leading to its box office success. That's the first Aquaman. They didn't have enough AI for the second Aquaman, I guess. Furthermore, AI-powered chatbots are used for promotional campaigns, engaging audiences in innovative ways. The chatbot for the horror movie Morgan interacted with users, creating a personalized and immersive marketing experience. One emerging application is in virtual filmmaking, where AI could assist in creating realistic virtual environments, reducing the need for physical sets. This technology could revolutionize the way movies are made, offering more creative freedom and reduced production costs. Another area with potential is AI-driven narrative development. AI could analyze audience preferences and societal trends to suggest storylines and genres that are likely to resonate with viewers. This predictive storytelling could lead to more successful films that are closely aligned with the audience's actual interests. AI could also enhance immersive experiences in movies, such as augmented reality and virtual reality. By integrating AI with these technologies, filmmakers could create more engaging and interactive storytelling experiences. Another application is individualized matchmaking of movie to specific moviegoer. Already, AI systems have been trained in psychographics and neurolinguistics. Through this combination, an AI system understands each person almost as well as a best friend does. Thus, movie studios are looking at powerful marketing tools that can identify the specific aspect of each movie that would appeal to an individual moviegoer. Moreover, through this AI technology, studios can speak to each person just like a best friend to share why the person would enjoy the movie. This is a sharp contrast from today, where only certain aspects like action, whodunit, etc. are played up to the mass audience. The integration of AI into the movie-making process represents a significant shift in how films are produced, distributed, and marketed. From script analysis to audience engagement, AI is streamlining operations, reducing costs, and enhancing creative possibilities. AI is involved in every part of the production process now, from script writing to the finished production. The studios already have a deal that allow them, if they need to change the performances of actors in their movies. For right now, they've agreed to get consent for most of the major changes they want to make. In the future, just like privacy has kind of gone away with the internet, the consent is going to go away. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.